Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is March 19th, and that means day 78 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we printed out Sally from the Around Town collection from MakerBot. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me for day 78 of the 3DP 365 project. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for all these episodes, and I really appreciate your support. Today's episode, we printed out Sally from that Around Town collection from MakerBot. And we did have a little bit of a problem with this print. We had a layer skip, and it's pretty consistent with these MakerBot figures to have these right in the middle of the face. I would have been fine if it would have landed somewhere else. There also is a small geometry issue, and we'll talk about that when we get into Simplify 3D. So for now, let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you where I downloaded this model. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you the print and I'll show you the geometry error. Then we'll meet back here and we'll talk about the print. Alright, so here we are at Thingiverse. Here is Sally from MakerBot, and I'll put the link down in the description so you can download and print this one yourself. And of course, this is part of that Around Town collection, the really cool collection of figures by MakerBot posted up on Thingiverse. So let's tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for the print. Here we are, Simplify 3D, and I've dropped the model down on the print bed at 100%. And this one's got a lot of detail near the top, so this should be a pretty easy print. So let me show you my process settings. We did a 0.16mm layer height with 4 top solid layers and 3 bottom solid layers and 3 perimeters. We also ran a brim by entering 0 in the skirt offset at 4 outlines. For infill, we only used 15%, and we did not generate support material. For temperature, this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, so I'm drifting my temperatures between 207 and 208 for my first layer, and then on the third layer dropping it down to 204. For cooling, we have our 3-stage cooling system set up, and under speed we ran this out at 45 millimeters per second. So let's hit OK, and if we hit prepare to print, I'll show you how it's sliced. Alright, there's our finished sliced model, and we'll slow it down just a tad, and I'll play this through. And of course you can see that MakerBot logo on the bottom. And I will point out something here, let me pause this for you. There is a geometry error in this model, but we did let it print because I just wanted to print it. And it's right here. We have a big gaping hole and some random filament layers here. Now I've tried a couple of different settings and this doesn't go away, so it's a geometry error. So that's a problem with this model, but we're gonna let it print anyway. And if we speed this up, you can see that it finishes off the portly little body and heads towards the arms, the pearls, the hands, finishes up on that portly little face, and that wraps up the model. Alright, so let's head back over to the workbench and we'll talk about this print. Okay, so you saw my settings in Simplify 3D, and here is the finished print. And I don't know if you can see that, but I'll definitely put some close-ups in at the end. But there's a huge layer skip, well, not huge, but there's a layer skip right in the middle of her face. And of course, down there on her shoe is the geometry error, and you'll see that in the close-ups too. The rest of the print looks pretty awesome. My gMax did such an amazing job of picking up all the detail on the model. And this MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of tan is the perfect choice for these little models. Should we decide to finish them, it makes a really great skin color. But other than that, we have our layer skip issue again. Now this could be a number of factors, and one of them could be that the extruder wasn't clean and there was probably some pieces in it. But I definitely don't think it was that, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I clean my extruder every single time I switch colors. And what I use to clean my extruder is Dyna-Purge 3D Clean, and you can get this from Fargo 3D Printing, and I'll put a link down in the description so you can get some of this yourself. You get a full container for I think 20 or 25 bucks. And if you use this between every single filament change, run 3 or 4 of these through your extruder, it should get all the goop out of there and all the previous colors. So this stuff really helps. So I know it's not a clogged extruder. The other issue it could be is a small temperature drop. And I had my temperature set at, I believe, 207 and 203. So 203 would be from the third layer on. Now if the temperature dropped to say 202 or 201 for that exterior perimeter, and that wasn't enough to spit out enough plastic, that could be the issue. The other issue could be a small tangle in the filament, but this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, and I've really not had any problems with tangles. Another issue could be inconsistent filament diameter. And honestly, I did not measure this filament, so I'm not quite sure, but I definitely will be measuring my filament before I use it all the time now. But other than that, I think the print turned out pretty awesome and I'm really happy with the results. Other than that layer skip and the small geometry error, the rest of the model printed out perfectly. Well, that about wraps it up for day 78 of the 3DP 365 project. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.